Hi everyone, and welcome to the comprehensive overview of the evolution of the 2026 PMP exam. I'm Hiromi Nakatani from Access International, and I'm thrilled to guide you through the key changes coming to the PMP exam effective July 2026. Whether you are currently studying for the PMP considering certification, or you are already a PMP holder wondering about these changes, this session will provide you with everything you need to know about what's changing, why it's changing, and most importantly, what you should do to prepare. Before we dive into the content, let me briefly introduce myself so you understand the perspective I bring to this discussion. Over the past 20 years, I've worn many hats, from network engineer to project manager, from cybersecurity analyst to Agile coach. I've worked across major startups, international telecommunications companies, and global consulting firms. Currently, I serve as a certified instructor for PMI, ISG2, CompTIA, and PeopleCert, delivering both corporate training and university lectures. My certification portfolio spans project management, agile methodologies, cybersecurity, and quality management systems, including PMP, multiple PMI certifications, Scaled Agile Safe SPC, Scrum Alliance certifications, CISSP, and many others you can see on the screen. I'm also actively involved as a PMI Global Volunteer Leader and serve on standards committees for both PMI Japan and ISECA Tokyo. This gives me unique insights into not just what's changing, but why these changes are happening from a global standards perspective. Today, I'll leverage this practical real-world experience to help you understand the 2026 changes, not just theoretically, but from a practitioner's viewpoint. Now, let's address the fundamental question. Why does PMI update the PMP exam at all? The PMP exam undergoes revision approximately every 4 years, and this isn't arbitrary. These updates are driven by comprehensive job analysis surveys that PMI conducts globally with thousands of project management practitioners. As you can see on the slide, there are 3 key drivers for change. First, the rationale. PMI analyzes the latest industry trends and emerging practices through extensive research. Second, the evolving role. The project manager's role has transformed significantly. We are no longer just schedule and budget managers. We are strategic business partners. And third, the new focus. Emerging areas like artificial intelligence and sustainability are no longer optional add-ons. They are becoming core to the project's success. This ensures that when you earn your PMP, it reflects the skills actually needed in today's project environment, not yesterday's. Let me break down the 2026 changes into 4 major categories that will affect your exam preparation and experience. Category 1. Changes in exam content weighting and approach. This is perhaps the most significant shift, with major adjustments to how different domains and weighted. Category 2. exam format, and time allocation revisions. The structure of the exam itself is evolving to better assess practical skills. Category 3. Changes to eligibility requirements. Some good news here, with more flexibility in qualifying experience. Category 4. New and enhanced content topics. This is where we see the integration of contemporary themes like AI and sustainability. Over the next several slides, we'll dive deep into each of these categories so you understand exactly what's changing and how it affects you. Here is where we see the most dramatic shift in the exam structure. Look at this table carefully. The people domain decreases from 42% to 33%, still important, but proportionally smaller. The process domain also decreases from 50% to 41%. Again, still the largest single domain, but reduced. But look at the business environment domain. It jumps from just 8% to 26%. That's more than a threefold increase. Now, before anyone panics thinking they need an MBA, let me reassure you with this important note at the bottom. This is closer to a reorganization than entirely new content. PMI isn't suddenly expecting you to become a business strategist overnight. What they are doing is recognizing that modern project managers need to understand and articulate how their projects contribute to business value. You won't need advanced business strategy knowledge. You need to understand how projects align with and deliver business objectives. This change reflects the reality that successful project managers today are business-savvy professionals who can speak the language of executives and stakeholders. Let's explore what this increased emphasis on business environment actually means in practice. This shift is part of PMI's strategic initiative called Close the Gap. Closing the gap between tactical execution and strategic value delivery. PMI wants to elevate project managers from being seen as mere task executors to being recognized as strategic business partners. Notice the visual here showing the migration of content. Topics like change management and risk management, which were previously categorized under the process domain, are now being moved to the business environment domain. Why does this matter? Because it changes the context in which these topics are examined. Instead of asking, how do you manage change within your project? The exam might ask, how does organizational change management impact your project business value delivery? This isn't adding complexity, it's adding business context to skills you always have. It's about understanding the why behind the how of project management. Here is another significant change that reflects current industry reality, the shift in methodology balance. Currently, the exam is roughly 50-50 between predictive or waterfall approaches and adaptive hybrid approaches. Starting in July 2026, the changes to 40% predictive and 60% adaptive hybrid. This isn't PMI saying Agile is better than Waterfall. It's PMI acknowledging what their practitioner surveys show, that in today's project environment, most organizations are using some form of adaptive or hybrid approach. For those of you who come from traditional project management backgrounds, don't worry, 40% is still substantial, and many Agile concepts build on traditional PMI foundations. For those already working in Agile environments, this validates your experience and means the exam will better reflect your daily reality. The key takeaway: regardless of your background, you will need to be comfortable with both approaches and critically understand when and how to blend them in hybrid scenarios. Let's talk about the nuts and bolts of the exam format itself. This comparison table shows exactly what's changing. The total question count increases slightly from 180 to 185 questions, but here is the key. The scored questions remain at 175, what increasing as the pretest questions, doubling from 5 to 10. These are questions PMI is validating for future exams, and they don't count toward your score. The total test time increases by 10 minutes to 240 minutes. That's 4 full hours. This might seem like good news, giving you more time per question, but notice the break structure. Currently, you get 2 10-minute breaks. In the new format, these are reduced to 5-minute breaks. As I note here, this is a substantive change. While you have slightly more time per question, the shorter breaks mean you need to maintain concentration for longer periods. My advice? Start building your test endurance now. Practice with 4-hour study sessions and train yourself to stay focused with only brief breaks. This stamina will be just as important as your knowledge. One of the most innovative changes is the introduction of new question formats. PMI is moving beyond traditional multiple choice to create more practical, scenario-based assessments. Let's explore these 5 new formats. Practicum questions. These present you with actual tools, datasets, or case studies. You might analyze a real project dashboard and answer questions about what actions to take. Extended matching. Using drag-and-drop interfaces, you will match items, perhaps linking risks to appropriate response strategies or stakeholders to communication methods. Case scenario questions. A detailed situation with charts or graphs is presented, followed by multiple related questions. One scenario might generate 4-5 questions, testing your ability to analyze complex situations. Graphic-based questions. You will interpret actual charts, burn-down charts, control charts, or network diagrams to answer questions. Other formats include point and click on diagrams, drop-down selections, and enhanced multiple choice. The note at the bottom is important. While case studies take time to read, having multiple questions per scenario means the overall reading load may not increase significantly. Think of it as deeper engagement with fewer scenarios rather than surface-level engagement with many separate questions. Good news! On the eligibility front, PMI is making it easier to qualify for the exam. First, the experience look-back period extends from 8 to 10 years. If you have been out of formal PM roles recently but have solid experience from the past decade, you can now use that experience. Second, educational equivalence is now formally defined using international frameworks like EQF and ICET. This helps international candidates better understand how their qualifications map to PMI requirements. The 35-hour training requirement remains unchanged, but here is fantastic benefit for CAPM holders. If you have your CAPM certification, you automatically receive 23 hours of credit. You only need to document an additional 12 hours of training. This is PMI recognizing that CAPM holders have already demonstrated fundamental PM knowledge, creating a clear pathway from CAPM to PMP. If you are considering CAPM as a stepping stone, this makes that path even more attractive. Here, we see the integration of two critical 21st century themes, artificial intelligence and sustainability. These aren't being added as separate domains, but are being woven throughout all exam areas. Look at the specific examples of integration shown here. For sustainability, it's now included in quality cost management, considering environmental costs alongside traditional quality costs. It explicitly started in compliance requirements, not just legal compliance, but sustainability compliance. Sustainability risk management is part of risk response execution. For AI, file-specific examples and detailed on this slide. Expect questions about AI tool selection, AI-assisted decision-making, and managing AI-related risks in projects. The key message: you don't need to become an AI expert or sustainability specialist. You need to understand how these factors influence project decisions and outcomes in each domain, people, process, and business environment. Financial management gets special attention in the new exam with enhanced focus in the process domain. 4 key areas are highlighted here. Analysis of project financial needs. Going beyond simple budgeting to understanding comprehensive financial requirements, including indirect costs and opportunity costs. Qualification of financial allocation for risks and contingencies. not just identifying risks, but quantifying their financial impact and allocating appropriate reserves. Reserve management. Active management of contingency and management reserves throughout the project lifecycle. ROI and benefits realization. Understanding and articulating the financial return on project investments. This enhanced focus reflects the reality that project managers and increasingly expected to speak the language of finance, especially when justifying projects to executives or managing project portfolios. Let's talk timeline. These are the critical dates you need to know. Registration for the pilot program opens December 15th, 2025. The pilot testing window runs from January 5/30, 2026. Just a 25-day window for the special opportunity. The new exam officially launches in July 2026. The pilot program is a unique opportunity to experience the new exam format 6 months early. Here are the key details. It's English only and requires in-person testing at Pearson VUE centers. It tests the new exam content outline before full implementation. This is your chance to be among the first to earn PMP certification under the new format. If you are ready and want to get ahead of the curve, this pilot program is an excellent opportunity. Let me explain why participating in the pilot program is, as I say here, an excellent opportunity worth trying. First benefit, early pass potential. Be among the very first to earn your PMP with the updated exam. This gives you a competitive advantage and demonstrates your adaptability to new standards. Second benefit, 20% exam fee discount. Participants receive a 20% refund after completing the pilot exam. That's a significant savings on your certification investment. Third benefit, free retake opportunity. This is huge. If you don't pass the pilot exam, you get a free retake on the new exam starting in July 2026. Essentially, you are getting 2 attempts for less than the price of one. The consideration to note, results won't be immediate. They will be announced in mid to late March because PMI needs time to analyze the results and calibrate the passing score. But given the benefits, this wait is a small trade-off for such significant advantages. For the most up-to-date and official information about the new exam, always refer to PMI's dedicated page shown here. I recommend bookmarking this page and checking it regularly as we approach the launch dates. PMI will post any updates or clarifications here first. I want to address something important, the fear and uncertainty that naturally come with change. You might be hearing from various sources that you should rush to take the current exam because the new one will be harder. As I note here, I believe this is often a fear-based marketing tactic. Here's a critical fact. Over 85% of the current content will be included in the new exam. It's not being replaced. It's being reorganized and enhanced. Your current knowledge remains valuable and relevant. Think of it like reorganizing your toolbox. You are not throwing away your tools. You are arranging them differently and adding a few new ones to handle modern projects better. We provide mapping charts that show exactly how your existing knowledge applies to the new exam structure. This isn't about starting over. It's about building on what you already know and adding contemporary skills that will make you more effective in today's project environment. I'm excited to invite you to join our free 2026 PMP exam pilot study group. This is your opportunity to prepare for the future of project management certification with comprehensive support. Here is what you will gain from our study group. Semantic analysis of changes. We break down each change theme so you understand not just what's changing, but why. Knowledge mapping. We'll show you exactly how your current knowledge maps to the new exam structure. Exclusive content. AI Training Center explanations, practice problems, and sample questions specifically designed for the new format. Format training. Thorough explanation and practice with the new question formats, so there are no surprises on exam day. The study group is free for anyone registering for the pilot program. Simply visit the link shown to join. Note that we may limit registrations from the same organization to ensure diverse perspectives and optimal group dynamics. Thank you for joining today's session on the evolution of the 2026 PMP exam. Remember, change brings opportunity. The new exam format better reflects the reality of modern project management, making your certification more relevant and valuable in the marketplace. Whether you choose to take the pilot exam in January or wait for the full launch in July, the key is to start preparing now with confidence, knowing that your existing knowledge forms a strong foundation. I wish you great success on your PMP journey. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me at Hiromi Nakatani. I'd love to hear about your certification journey and answer any questions you might have. Thank you again and best of luck with your PMP preparation.